Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to go and collect my 997 Carrera S from my friend, so come along. Hey guys, we've just arrived here at Gas Monkey to meet my friend, so let's go check it out. Right guys, so this is my 2005 997.1 Carrera S. Funny enough, this is actually the second time that I've owned this car. It's actually from a local Porsche restorer in this area. He owned the car and I purchased it back for him. I'm also going to show you a few of the finer touches that this local restorer did. You'll note, if we start here at the back, it used to say the normal Carrera S, and obviously now the script has been changed to Porsche, which I must say, I would say it adds a bit of a classic look, and I actually prefer it. And if you look at the bottom, you see it's got the sports Porsche sports exhaust. This wasn't factory standard for this car. It had the normal sports exhaust, and then I took it to the local guys here for a service, and then they said, they've got the second-hand exhaust system if I'm not interested, and I said yes, definitely. Also activated with a button to open those exhaust valves, but because the wiring loom is a bit tricky, we couldn't connect it in the normal Porsche OEM loom, so we had to create a special button for the sports exhaust. So I just want to show you guys how this button works. Actually, the little button is actually from a flashlight that I used, and it's actually quite nifty. So if I switch it off, if I switch it on, I hope you guys can hear the difference over the camera. I'll show you guys what this beautiful 3.8 looks like. I'm sure you guys by now know what these motors look like. I hope you can see this over the camera. It's basically very clean. And I mean, compared to the new faces, I mean, if you look the new Porsches, if you look at the 991, well, yeah, even from them, especially the 992, I mean, you cannot see the engine whatsoever. So with these 997s, it's actually quite cool to still be able to see, to see the engine at least. The car has done 94,000 Ks as it is now. When I bought the car the second time that I purchased this car, it had done 72,000 Ks. So with the previous owner, what happened to him was that only a few months after he had the car, the clutch actually went. So he had to replace the clutch. And while the clutch was out, they also inspected the IMS bearing, and they found that was still in good nick. And what they also did, which was actually quite a huge improvement, was that they installed a lightweight dual mass flywheel, and that really makes a big difference. I mean, this engine, you can it's like literally driving a different car, because obviously I can still remember the first time I owned the car compared to the second time with this lightweight dual mass flywheel. Just makes all the difference. She just picks up rev so much more easily. Even the fuel consumption is better. Back in the day when I had it the first time in 2014, the fuel consumption was around 13-14 liters per 100, whereas now it's between 11 and 12 liters per 100. So I would say it made about a 2 liters per 100 difference. So you guys will see that the center cap is the black and white, or the normal crest. I used to have the colored ones, but then my friends actually showed me these ones that sort of black and white, if you want to call it that. And I must say, I think it actually suits the car much better. I'm not sure if you can see this over the camera, but we refurbished the mags, and then what happened was we sort of tried to do GT3 style in terms of that it doesn't have the clear coat. Surely you guys can't see it over the camera, so it's just got the normal base coat with I suppose a lot of hardener in it. So especially when the sun is shining, it really gives a deep luster, and it really pops, especially when the sun is shining. This car went for the 90,000 K service recently, and then we also put in brand new OEM Porsche discs, as well as the calipers. So she really brakes incredibly good no matter how fast you're going. What we also did over the last couple of weeks is that we completely refurbished the rear and front bumpers. And we also put in brand new front lights. These tend to get a bit hazy, and that irritated the heck out of me. So I must say it looks a hell of a lot better now with these new front lights. You'll also note that we fitted the number plate in this bottom recess. I don't think it really has as a job, this bottom recess. I think it's just there for the look. There's no radiators or fans or anything behind it. You can't probably see it now, but behind the number plate it's just basically a cover there. And I think in terms of the look, the finish looks a little bit better. It's a pity in South Africa that we need a front number plate as well. Some of you guys overseas, you only need the plate at the rear, which is quite cool. If we look in the front, another upgrade that I did under my ownership is obviously you can see the front is pretty stock standard, but if you look in terms of under the battery cover, I used to struggle quite a lot with flat batteries. These 997s do have a tendency to go flat rather quickly, so I opted for the bigger battery. This is a 658. For the life of me, I cannot remember what the original code is for the for the normal standard battery. So this one actually fits in perfectly with a I just sort of moved a little bracket with minor, I hope you can see it, with minor adjustments and a bit of modifying work. I was able to connect the the bigger battery, and it really makes quite a big difference, especially with startup. She really starts much easier. And then also in terms of holding a charge, with the previous battery I struggled to get through 3 days, and now with this one it's at least about a week. The car is on trickle charge every day, so I'm just trying to think back before I had the trickle charger, but it was about 7 days that she lasted before she had to to get a charge again. So this bigger battery definitely has it's got a huge benefit to it. My car's got the xenon lights. These lights are extremely powerful, obviously during the evening. One thing that I have picked up is that every now and then this left hand light doesn't want to auto level. When you switch on the ignition, the lights first they dim down, and then they basically bounce up again to do a sort of a mini diagnostic, and sometimes this left one here doesn't want to pick up again. I'll make a separate video where I show you guys how to get around that issue. Having a look now at the inside of the car, immediately you guys can see the brown leather inserts, which is obviously not a typical Porsche standard thing. So the previous owner basically did this. He made a few cosmetic changes to this car, which I believe is actually quite nifty. You'll also see here at the back, in terms of where the speaker is, the brown leather there. In terms of the steering wheel, it's also a bit of a retrofit, the black leather, and I hope you can see this with the brown stitching to match the brown leather on the dash. One thing that annoyed me of this car was the front dash. There used to be a rattle that irritated the crap out of me, and I just really I struggled to find the source of this rattle, and eventually got a way around it. So if you look here while I'm pointing with my finger, I put in those, I hope you can see it. What I did there was that I inserted basically the bottom of a stool's feet, the legs of a stool or chair, those little cushions. I basically bought them from a local hardware store, and I inserted it there, and Bob's your uncle, the rattle went away. So every now and then I just have to replace those little cushions because in the sun they do get a little bit harder. Another thing that irritates the crap out of me is if I open the sunroof, just opening the little lip like this. When I drive faster than 100 km per hour, there's this whistling noise. Let me just close the door here. There's this whistling noise that seemingly comes from the mirror. Now I've completely disassembled all these rubbers here. I've taken off the mirror. My gut feel tells me that it's probably this rubber here. If you open the door, it's probably this rubber here, with the wear and tear that the car has, the 94,000 Ks. It's probably that has to be replaced. I just didn't have the time to get around to that yet. The thing I want to show you guys is these buttons here, the temp one and the fan one. They also normally get a bit worked out or worn out over the years, and if I remember correctly, there's a company in Spain that actually I think they 3D print these buttons, so I just purchased the buttons from them, and I just just installed them. And so it obviously makes quite a big difference to the look of the buttons as compared to when they are so worn, and it just looks tatty, it just looks terrible. So that's one sort of minor design flaw that that these 997s have. Another nice aftermarket feature, another nice aftermarket feature that this car has, you saw the error message there, is that they removed the 6-disc front loader that's normally there in the front, and they've installed, it's also the previous owner that did this, they installed the Mobridge system. It's actually, it just works wonderful because you can stream your music from your phone. You can also, obviously, it's got a built-in hands-free kit that you can also do your, make your telephone calls over the system. It's obviously a great safety feature to have. Well guys, that basically concludes our episode for today. I really hope you enjoyed this review of my 997.1 Carrera S. I really enjoy the car. I try to drive her on a daily basis, and I hope the smaller little details that I showed you, I really hope it helps you guys back at home. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.